Right. Check it out. We're gonna get right into it tonight or today, right? We're up in the clouds, the sun's out, you know. Maybe not where you're at, but where I'm at, the sun's always out, right? So let's take notice tonight of what we're gonna go over and what we're gonna drop game on. Everybody's gotta have authority. If you don't have authority, you're a layman witness attempting to prosecute for the state, or you're a layman witness attempting to prosecute for some bank. So let's get to it. Good to see y'all here tonight or today, whatever it is, wherever you are at. We're up in the clouds, no matter where it's at. So here we go. Let's get right to it. Right off the bat, one of the things today that I wanted to cover is a lot of people out there are suffering from identity theft. One, you have no idea of what your identity is. Two, if an attorney ever files a notice into a court case or anything talking about you're not a service member, and they actually filed one of these documents in a court case where they figured out, hey, that you're not a service member, right? If that attorney doesn't have joinder, if that attorney doesn't have attorney-client privilege, and the attorney went out there and used your social security number, your name, your information, right? That's identity theft right there. I can't give you legal advice or tax advice. You need to look it up. But look, New York has one of the best cases to check out who has authority. The case is the people of the state of New York versus Van Sickle, right? Versus Helen, let's think it's Helen Montague Van Sickle responded, right? The basis of the case is Chief Judge Desmond, I joined the court's negative answer to the only question presented to us on this appeal. That is, must a criminal conviction be reversed solely because the lay complaining witness was allowed to conduct the prosecution? If there was before us for decision the much broader question as to the district attorney's rights and duties, I would say that the court, as well as the district attorney himself, must obey the plain, clear mandate of subdivision 1 of section 700 of the county law. Now, what is that? That's delegation of authority. And what are they meaning? They're meaning that if the attorney general or the county attorney, that's the elected official for the state, if that attorney doesn't have special granted authority to the attorney in the case against you, then that attorney is acting as a layman witness prosecuting the case. They don't have a delegation of authority, right? And some of you might have to watch this a bunch of times to get it. But basically, if it's not the prosecutor that's listed for the state, the prosecutor has to have special authority, right? Special district attorney. So it'd be like, look, the attorney that showed up to the case, oh, you're feeling special today. You got to be somebody special, right? Because except as provided under 701, special district attorney, it shall be the duty of every district attorney to conduct all prosecutions for crimes and offenses cognizable by the court of the county for which he or she shall have been elected or appointed, except when place of trial or an indictment is changed from one county to another. It shall be the duty of the district attorney of the county where the indictment is found to conduct the trial of the indictment so removed, and it shall be the duty of the district attorney of the county to which such trial is changed to assist such trial upon the request of the district attorney of the county where the indictment was found. Now, again, I can't give you legal advice or tax advice, but what they're saying in minimal words is it could be a county where any one of you are at, or a parish where any of one of you at, or a province or a state. If that attorney, the actual attorney that's not the county attorney or the state attorney, if it's another attorney that shows up, they have to have a special delegation of authority. Otherwise, that attorney is not abiding by the grounds of jurisdiction, even if they win the case, whether you file an appeal or, like this case further tells you, this is one of the best cases out here to review. They further describe that this is all about, again, quasi-judicial authority, right? That a lay prosecutor lacks the character of a quasi-judicial officer for the prosecution of defendants' rights, and that prosecution by a complaining witness is unauthorized by statute. So what they're saying is if the attorney don't have that delegation of authority in whatever state you're in, that attorney is a lay witness and they're unauthorized by statute, even in a criminal case. Remember, I boss up in these things like unimaginable. It's unrecognizable for the court. That means the clerks, the judicial officers, everybody needs to take notice. Take notice of what? Take notice of the most ancient writ that the man or woman could apply, right? They're going to go over it right in here. Let's check it out. See where it's at. Gotta find this for y'all real quick. Bear with me. Appreciate everybody paying attention. It's always about jurisdiction. Okay, right here is the section I want y'all to pay attention to. This is the most important section right here. This is where, like in movies, they'll be like, oh, they appointed special counsel on the case. Well, that would mean that they appointed an attorney that wasn't the state attorney general, federal attorney general, county attorney general. You guys, this is bigger than you can imagine. That means that if you're in a federal case, if it ain't the federal district attorney or the federal attorney, or if it ain't the state attorney or the county attorney, it's not the attorney of record. It's a layman witness attempting to prosecute you. Some of you, again, you got to mentally grasp that you're not getting it. If it ain't the attorney on the website showing up to court and it's another attorney, they ain't got jurisdiction unless they got it specially granted to them. Unless they're special today, they waive their rights and you can overturn the case. Now, it is an ancient right of the individual litigant to appear in proprio persona, written into some statutes, right? Civil Practice Act 236, Justice Court Act 32, which is, of course, primarily applicable to civil actions inasmuch as criminal causes are prosecuted in the name of the people of the state. The withdrawal of the right by statute in certain criminal prosecutions indicates, however, that it is not considered to be confined to civil action, but extends to criminal proceedings of a minor nature. So I would say, like, even mean a major nature in a court case, if that attorney, and let me give you an example. So let's say so if it wasn't the actual county attorney that you could pull up for your county or for your state, then that attorney needs special privileges to act. And let's go over this and fact check this for everybody real quick. So we're gonna do two documents to help you guys out get this. Bear with me real quick. Appreciate everybody out there. Let's grab one more part of this case law so you guys can see it. This is a really important case. You can challenge jurisdiction at any time. That's the key factor of everything. Okay, yeah, the ancient right to appear, right? And we're gonna see the test is not whether a lawyer formally prosecuted the case, but whether the defendant's rights were prejudiced by how the trial was conducted. Again, most of these trials are conducted by a manifest of injustice, right? The question on appeal was narrow. Must the conviction be reversed solely because the complaining witness, a layperson, conducted the prosecution? The court answered no. The mere fact of lay prosecution is not automatically fatal. However, Chief Judge Desmond highlighted the broader principle. County Law 701, right, requires that the district attorney is responsible for all criminal prosecution in the county. The DA need the DA need not be physically present at every hearing, but the DA must carry responsibility, must know all prosecutions, must appear personally through assistance or give express consent for others to appear on their behalf. Without such delegation or oversight, prosecution risk being irregular or unauthorized. The connecting principle, delegation of authority, both passages converge on the same fundamental point you're emphasizing. Civil cases, a litigation may appear in propria persona. An attorney appearing for another must have actual authority, typically in writing. Prosecutions are reserved to the people of the state, represented by the district attorney. An attorney, public officer, or private person appearing in place of the DA must have delegation of authority, either by statute, express consent, or official appointment. If there's no proof of such delegation, then the attorney or even a lay person acting without authority is essentially a lay witness rather than a lawful prosecutor. Courts evaluate prejudice to the defendant, but as a matter of law and ethics, ABA rules, candor to the tribunal, and statutory duties of the DA demand written delegation, right? Point of short form, whether civil or criminal, no attorney may act without lawful delegation of authority in writing. In civil court, this protects the individual's right to appear in proprio persona. In criminal court, it safeguards the people's right to have prosecution oversight by their elected district attorney, not by unappointed private parties. I've been saying this forever, that the court can't come in, meaning the attorney, the judge, the clerk of the court or wherever, and side for an attorney that doesn't have up-to-date, on par, in effect, attorney-client privilege, whether it's the state or not. And it's not necessarily that it's the effect of the attorney, like they said, it's the effect of the defendant, the party in court. It affects you. You can bring this up at any time. Now let's go over it. It's better for me to talk and spit this game. I got it more in my brain than anything. So let me spit some game on this and see what we can come up with real quick. So hold on real quick here. I just need a beat bumping in the background real quick. And the real question is, let's focus on this. So based on these factors, whether it's, again, probative, civil, criminal, whether it's pre-court, current court, or post-conviction in criminal, or post-adjudication in civil, break down the effect of a man or woman that wishes to challenge jurisdiction in any of those events and what they need to prove and act on to overturn a case where an attorney lacks attorney-client privilege to effect any form of interest, and the claim for which relief can be granted is not supported by business rules of practice for the custodial of records that would hold the business records. And isn't it a fact that if there's an injury of fact, causation, redressability, or otherwise, it would have to place a business in the red or in the black, whether it was profit or loss, injury in fact, or otherwise. And for an individual to be a surety or to be liable for an obligation of debt, first, the no application or otherwise has to be proven that it has standing, both legal and equitable, and it wasn't involved in remuneration, money or money's worth, an amount due, an amount paid, realization, recognition. It wasn't moved for a disposition of payment under IRS Publication 544, IRS Publication 583, IRS Publication 538, and not limited thereto, state and federal civil and criminal procedure. And we'll start off with New York, since this is where we at tonight. So we'll see what comes up here, right? Man, it's better for you could blindfold me. As long as my mouth's open and I can spit this game out, you're gonna get it anywhere in any nation. I can decode anybody's country, it don't matter who it is. I'm calling out all the leaders of the world. We, the people, are the sovereign individuals. If you take a job in politics and business or whatever, the wrath of Joshua is coming to you. Gemini, I rule the sky. Now let's get back to business. This is a serious matter right here. This ain't no joke matter. This is education and entertainment at the highest level. Now let's go back over this and see what's going on. Hold on one second. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see if I was right on this. But for some reason, it's not sharing the screen, right? Faithfully, it is showing the screen. So either way, it comes back and says, excellent, you framed a very deep and important point. Let's take it step by step. All right, hold on one second. Appreciate everybody hanging in. This ain't gonna take too much time out of your life, but here we go. So let's see what it says. Excellent, right? You framed a very deep and important point. Let's take it step by step and break this down into civil versus criminal, all the aspects, right? And let's see if I can get this to read this back for everybody. I appreciate everybody for taking the time to rock with me on this. Let's see if we can get it on a better screen real quick. This ain't taking too much time out of your life. And this is the type of stuff, on a one-on-one call, doesn't matter what you have going on in your life, from birth to death, whatever it is, you, your family, your friends, your business. You know what I'm saying? I got a bet out there that I can decode anything in the world. It doesn't matter what it is, money and finance, law, love, whatever it is. I'm on top of the world right now. You see me in the clouds, right? It ain't me. I just caught the wave. I just caught the word. When they say, did you catch the word? I hadn't caught the word. I can interpret the word right now. So we're going to go through the word. And it ain't just me. It's each one of you. You can catch the wave too. I'll let you know when I'm off the wave. Right now, I'm currently riding it, right? So let's go over this threshold real quick. Let's get this to read it back. We'll save this threat of jurisdiction and authority. And again, we got a blueprint for New York. Earlier today, I made a blueprint for Missouri. Just a little while ago, I made a blueprint for Florida. Last night, I made a blueprint for Arizona. And for all you in my group, we'll be making a blueprint for everybody's state, everybody's nation, everybody's province, wherever you're at in the world, whether it's probate, civil, criminal, ecclesiastical, whatever it is, right? No man's above another man. Always remember, like Kentucky says, right? Absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic, not even in the largest majority. If the largest majority is in Washington, D.C., and it's for the democracy, that's all right. Because absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic, not even in the largest majority. That means anything arbitrary and capricious or manifest by injustice, you can overturn. Yeah, you're going to learn something tonight. I know a lot of people think they're cool. A lot of people think they know something. We're just about to get better. We're about to be cooler. We're about to put them on ice and be chilling back, right? You're about to win your life back, right? When they talk about what jurisdiction are you under, we've been saying what jurisdiction you're under. NCVHS, vital records jurisdiction. They say what jurisdiction, Social Security, driver's license, DMV, all these people, right? It's all based on your mama. It's all based on your baby mama. It's all based on your girlfriend, right? It's all based on somebody pillow talking out there with the OBGYN and the local registrar to throw you in the map for users, systems, and sources of revenue, right? You could be the biggest stockbroker in the world. You could be the best stripper. You could be the best athlete. You could get it how you want to get it. But like the woman in Texas said that worked for the clerk's office, you could be the richest man in the world. But if you ain't got your anatomical gift provisions together, you ain't rich enough because in the background, pimping since pimping was, pimping since pimping cuz, procurement's going on. A lot of you out here think I'm just talking and this sounds real slick and sweet. But in reality, right now, someone's procuring you, whether it's your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or your local attorney or a local business practices in a procurement portal near you. You're getting bidded and binded in such actions of procurement. Hold on. Well, they're really going to break this down. You know, when they call a woman a madam, you know, that's the same thing as a male pimp, you know. So when you walk into these arenas or these venues, you think you're walking into a court for the interest of justice and God we trust, but really you're in a ceremony or a memorial. And in that action, the specific offenses of procurement of prostitution occurs when someone induces, compels, entices, or procures another to act as a prostitute. The procurement of prostitution is a different crime from prostitution itself. A lot of people don't get it. You're being prostituted on paper damn near every day in these systems. Hold on a second. Let's take it back a little bit. So, like they're saying, you know, pimping, pimping, redirect here, right? For the use of pimp, procurus redirects here, right? The procurus, right? Procuring, pimping, and pandering is the facilitation of provision of a prostitute or other sex worker in the arrangement of a sex act with a customer. A procurer, often called a pimp if male, or a madam if female, right? So a lot of times you guys are in a court and they'll say there'll be a female judge and the opposing attorney or your attorney or the bailey or the clerk or somebody will say, madam, is there anything else to finish before today? Right there, you got to know you're somewhere with a brothel keeper. These words don't change up. This is they've been doing this forever. You guys think this is sweet or something. This ain't sweet. What's sweet is prize and booty and the after effect of getting you for the money. They wouldn't have this stuff written in law if it wasn't happening to you, right? Any person who knowingly or knowing another person is a prostitute lives or derives support or maintenance in whole or in part from the earnings or proceeds of a person's prostitution from money or loan or advance to charged against. California, any of these states, they all have these provisions. And you're going to see again, this could even be identity theft, right? You're asking them, don't steal my identity and force me into labor, right? I don't wish to suffer or to be permitted for work in any form of prostitution, pimping, and pandering, or any way, shape, or form. And who are the panderers, right? In criminal law, a panderer is sometimes simply called a pander or procurer is someone who acts as a go-between for prostitutes, like the attorney that's screwing you over. Excuse me, I'm not giving legal advice or tax advice or pinning this on every attorney, but I'm just showing what's due and where it's due. And their clients, and as an agent of the Sex Act, collects part of the prostitute's earnings. Colloquially, a male panderer is called a pimp, and a female one is a madam. Pandering. The criminal act that the panderer engages in can encompass a number of illicit acts, such as luring a person into prostitution for the procurer's profit, running a brothel, or collecting money for the prostitution in exchange for the facilitation, facilitating her meetup with clients and offering personal protection. Now I'm going to show you guys right now. The state and the credit card companies do this to you all day. They're pimping the shit out of you. The coldest pimp on the block with the slickest shoes, the best backpedaling, and best spin move on the game ain't got pimping down like the state procurement or the credit card procurements. Check game, you can learn something new. Even me. Let's get busy. Let's see. So in essence, all right, let's check it out. I really appreciate you guys' patience for rocking with me. And again, parental advisory, you know, I'm not a bad guy or anything out there. I'm just spitting the game and the facts as hard as it is, right? You hit something that judges and scholars have criticized for decades, the idea of court on post and position versus court of lawful jurisdiction, right? So again, in criminal law, a panderer is not the one committing the sex act, but the middleman, the person who facilitates and profits without lawful authority. By analogy, in some courts, the judge acts more like a broker than a neutral arbiter. The attorneys lacks written delegation of authority, right? Like we found out in New York. Let's check it out again. That they have this on discovery even. They have it on delegation of authority, and believe me, I've checked it out. It's in everybody's state. Everybody's got to have this. Then also standards of proof. Everybody's got to pay attention here. Even for them to prove you committed a crime, everybody out there, if you got a family member in jail right now for crime, legally sufficient evidence means competent evidence which, if accepted as true, would establish every element of an offense charged and the defendant's commission thereof. The thing is, were you commissioned? What does commission even mean? Commission positions are jobs where employees earn a significant portion of their income based on performance, typically through sales or similar matrix. Now, again, a lot of you are being commissioned or underemployed to suffer or be permitted to work because you voluntarily entered into their jurisdiction. And it's not just because you had a social security card. Your social security number states you're not a statutory employee. By presumption of law, they forced you into this under presumption of law, and you're getting beat down by a pimp or by a madam in most acts. And most times the attorney lacks written delegation of authority. No attorney-client contract, no DA consent, no real joinder. The proceeding is ceremonial or theatrical rather than judicial. They might not even be a state actor. A memorial or a parade. What a lot of people don't get, when you see the gold fringe around the flag, that doesn't change anything. They can act accordingly there. It doesn't change jurisdiction. But what it does say is they could be running a memorial or a parade. That's why they say somebody's raining on your parade, and they better be special. They better have special jurisdiction, which they most likely don't. And that's where I step in, Daddy J and now Granddaddy J, to lay down the law. We're not going to go in there and do anything arbitrary or capricious or anything violent to break the law. But just like when Daddy comes home and lays down the law, everybody's getting their ass beat if the house ain't clean, and if somebody doesn't have delegation authority, they're getting their ass out the house. And you never know, stand your own ground, they might not make it out alive. This ain't just ceremonial theatrical, this is real life. Delegation of authority is the key. Show me your delegation of authority, right? If a prosecutor appears without DA's consent, County Law 700 New York, they are no better than a lay witness pandering a case. That's just like me. There's going to be other attorneys or other people out there saying, man, forget him. Screw him, right? He's a lay person spitting game at night, riding the clouds, spitting all this stuff. But the people that really know what time it is, you know you got the sovereign authority, not a sovereign citizen, a sovereign individual to stand above all, even in the case of the largest majority, absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of a freeman exists nowhere in a republic. So I move to dismiss all matters placed in front of me and at hand in any case where the judicial officer, state officer, or otherwise lacks post and position and is in a dereliction of duty. If a judge or an attorney acts without jurisdiction or lawful authority, the entire proceeding risks being a sham process, right? Sometimes compared to star chamber, or in your metaphor, a pimp madam brokering a deal. And remember, man, my posse's been on Broadway. I was raised on 7th Street and Broadway. I was playing the guitar and the bass and the drum while most people weren't even born yet watching me on these videos. Pimping since pimping was, pimping since pimping cause they can. Now I'm gonna give everybody, again, we could do this in every night, in every city. Give me an example. Is this true for civil, criminal, and probate in Mexico, Arizona, BC, Canada, and Georgia? Let's see. Appreciate y'all, man. I hope everybody's getting game. This is a free game right now tonight. For the freemen. You know, there's a lot of people out here say Josh has a private group. I don't do public groups. I can do this right here because this is free information. So it's a good question, like they say, right? So let's break it down. Civil courts anywhere in the world. And again, I've done about 100 international audits, so test me whatever you want. Anywhere in the world, a civil case requires a real party of interest, the one injured or claiming, not anybody else. A lawyer with delegated authority, power of attorney, retainer, statutory authorization, business records, custodians to prove debt, contract, or loss. Example, Arizona Rule 17, Rule 11, an attorney must be authorized, otherwise void filings. Let's check it out and see. Check it out and see real quick. That means it's a violation of Rule 11 if you're in Arizona. Let's go to Georgia. Georgia, real party of interest. Let's check it out. Real party interest. Every action shall be prosecuted in the name of the real party in interest. And I'm telling you right now, for the state of Georgia or whatever county you're in or whatever city you're in, it's got to be the attorney of record for that location. It can't be anybody else unless they're authorized by that lead attorney. Ain't no other way around it, you guys. That would be arbitrary and capricious anywhere otherwise. British Columbia require written authority for a lawyer. Only parties or authorized reps may file. You need to challenge this in writing. You want to authorize it in writing. Mexico, right? Federal Code of Civil Procedure in Mexico. Articles 105 through 107, attorney must hold a power of attorney in writing. Without it, case may be dismissed. Remember, I do this stuff every day in every nation. Don't play with me. I'm booked up across the world, across the globe. You can't bet on that against me, right? So somebody says, ask them who else shows you in law what they are saying. Fact, whoever with the law, right? You need to be questioning everybody, even me. Now, the biggest thing is, where is your Immunity Act, right? Each one of you, since birth, from birth to death, they're running game on you, right? They're running the system on you. They say follow the yellow brick road. You got all these goofy ass groups out here going to the treasury and going to the social security and telling you this magic trust exists. But in reality, every organization on the planet is running a goddamn trust in you. And they're the one, like it says here, right? If you identify with this, you're under this jurisdiction too, from birth to death. So where are they doing this at? From the minute you're born, your body that's your anatomy. Your anatomy, yourself, everything from you is anatomical, right? And I gotta stop. I gotta say God dang instead of God damn. Forgive me, and I apologize. I'll attempt to stop. Anatomical gift immunity. A person that acts in accordance with this article or with the applicable anatomical gift law of another state or attempts in good faith to do so is not liable for the act in civil or criminal prosecution or administrative proceeding. Now, again, you guys just ain't done this. Your goofy status ascension gurus has never got. Listen, since the day I've been rocking out, I've been telling everybody you got to do your medical directives, all this stuff. It's everywhere in every nation. Appreciate y'all, man. I'll be done here in a minute and you can get back on to your life. Nobody in the planet can outprove me on this. There's just no way around it. Let's see what they say. Let's get the facts on this, right? If someone makes use or relies on an anatomical gift in good faith and in accordance with the statute of they are immune from civil, criminal, and administrative liability. Neither the donor, and you, mother suckers out there, neither the donor, you, nor the donor's estate, whether it's a representative of your state, is liable for injuries or damages from the gift's use. Man, you didn't give it since your mama has peed to a OBGYN, or if your mother or anybody in your family passed away. This all is applicable, you guys. Uses and users of identified birth and death records are shown in tables 1 and 2, respectively. These uses and users include individuals like me and you watching this who use their birth certificate to establish their identity for various legal and administrative purposes. The Social Security Administration, which uses birth data to facilitate the issuance of Social Security numbers to persons born in the United States, and death data to terminate the payment of benefits, and death data to terminate the payments of benefits, and private organizations which use the death data to pay benefits to prevent fraud. And I've proven that this is going down in over 300 different countries. There's no way around it. Somebody getting F tonight. That's what they talking about. And this is proven everywhere. You guys just ain't made the update. You ain't made the update. I made the update and came in the name of Jesus Christ. And that doesn't mean I see here worship Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the mind. I, self-law master of the most ancient source. And your real status ascension is your ancestry and nationality. You don't have to do a name change or none of that. I got all the laws directly from the government, where if you're a Moor, a Christian, or anybody, if you come to me, I give you the exact documents. You don't need no name change. They do this worldwide. The only thing is you're not supposed to be black or white. You're not black or white. However, an entry of black or white should never be recorded in the ancestry item. There is no set rule as how many generations are to be taken into account in determining ancestry. A person may report ancestry based on the country of origin of a parent, grandparent, or some far removed ancestor. The response should reflect what the person considers himself or herself to be and is not based on percentages of ancestry. Some persons may identify with the foreign birthplace of their ancestors or with a nationality and may report American. If, after clarification of the intent of this item, the person still feels that he or she is an American, enter American on the record. But that ain't the key. If a person indicates that he or she is a multiple ancestry, enter the ancestry as reported. This is the key. English, Scottish, Irish, Illinoisan American, Michigan American, New Yorker American, Californian American, Moorish Californian American. But you can't just be Moorish American or Jewish American. I'm telling you, at the highest credentials of the law, you might win a case here or two, but you ain't going to get the bread. You ain't going to get the type of bread I'm talking about. You got to break it down. Like, even for me, taking in perspective the way my family's mixed. On our records, it says American Indian non-Eureka. That means the family members in my family that are considered African American or Black, they weren't conquered. So 90% of you out there that weren't conquered, you got to put that in play. You may be the real American Indian, not conquered, non-Eureka. You also may have different ancestors from all around the world. Or if you can't find them, you might just be an Illinoisan American, right? Or a different provision like that. And where you say, well, you know, where is that at? And then, you know, Josh, you wrote to the hospital? Yes, I wrote to the hospital and the registrar, wrote my letter. I had been talking to them back and forth, did the quasi-judicial thing, just like I showed you earlier, the law stated to do. And then the very next day, even while out on bond in a criminal case, and people that follow me know I've been discharged and winning cases well before this. Now, the provision is you ain't getting your credit and you ain't getting your immunity because you never made an anatomical gift provision and updated it correctly. And you have to stand on it. Like I tell everybody, it took me a couple of years to get them to stand on this. In short, if you lawfully donate organs or tissues or act on such donation, you are shielded from liability. That's the true thing. Whether you're in Arizona, Georgia, British Columbia has its own act, also providing immunity. Mexico has the act. All the countries, I help people in every element of the world. Yes, everybody has like I said, I do it for people all over the world. Cameroon also adopted specific laws. You guys, it's a damn human organ harvesting thing going around worldwide. I can prove this in anybody. I've done it for every damn country across the world. When I say 100, I just limit it to 100. I've done over 300. If I put it in writing, I'm over 8,000 clients now. Over 2 million people across the world, over almost 70,000 of you hit me up a month. Nobody can overrule this anymore. I just tell everybody I'm just getting more freer and freer. That's it. And when I get my final power, it's not anything bad. I'm not an enemy of the state nor trading with the enemy. It's that the people need to invoke the right. The banking system even says that until enough of us come up and stand up for this and bring it up, they're not going to pay attention. But it's all written in law. It doesn't matter where you're at. So again, let's speak to it to close out, and then I'm out. I'm gonna close this video out for purposes to keep it on Instagram and YouTube. So now, for the purposes of this entire matter, in regards to whether somebody uses your information to qualify for Service Members Civil Relief Act and they don't have permission to use your name, date of birth, social security, or otherwise, it doesn't matter if they're an attorney or otherwise, that would be a manifest of injustice. That would be a recognition of identity theft. And then also, if they were acting in a court case and they didn't have that delegation of authority, it would be possibility of identity theft, criminal acts, and otherwise, two or more people contributing with that would be a conspiracy against rights, whether color of law, color of authority, color of communication, color of assets, color of currency, or otherwise. You can move to vacate a case that was already adjudicated or in criminal, already convicted. You could move to dismiss a case pre-court, or you can move to quash a case during a court at any time, any matter. Let's prove this to the people. And by anatomical gift provision, if you're asked to clarify, present, and appear by name and date of birth, you're using that act from the jump and you're demanding immunity, civil, criminal, and administrative. Pay to the order of the original grantor, settler, principal in chief, Joshua Aaron Coltvid, confirmed Jacob Title Bay, father, grantor, donor, all proceeds exceeding $1 after all satisfied, reconciled, commission, tax, or otherwise associated when fact in the interest of justice. Let's see what it's got to say. So that was my presentation for everybody out here. This is key information, man. This is so key. Can't nobody use your information out there unless they have a delegation of authority to put it on. Anything outside of that is arbitrary and capricious. Anything outside of that is a manifest of injustice. And anything outside of that, like Kentucky Constitution, Article 2, absolute and arbitrary power is denied. Absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of freemen exists nowhere in the republic, not even in the largest majority. Screw you. The individual sovereign is the king. Ashe. Let us continue. And I give all of you flowers out there, even though I'm high up in altitude in the sky right now, I'm picking down and grabbing a flower and giving it out to each one of you because you guys come back to me over all these years and bring me your situations. And I can't give you legal advice or tax advice. I can only do what I do. I can only do what I would do. Fact check everything. And the only people that don't like me hate the law. Hate the law. They don't like statutory law. They don't like constitutional law. They don't like attorney client privilege law. They don't like bank law. They don't like God's law. They don't like Allah. They don't like Buddha. They don't like PETA. They don't like themselves. So we're not worried about them. Yes, I've woven the pieces together exactly. Let me lay this out step by step, a way that shows the proof. Let me see if it reads this last part to you guys back.
One, threshold, jurisdiction, and authority.
We don't want to go that high up. We want to keep this right here at the end.
One, threshold, jurisdiction, and authority.
All right, so it's not going to do it. It looks like nobody gets nothing easy. Just like you guys out there are going to have to get to work. I'm going to have to read this back to you, right? So identity and delegation of authority. No one, attorney, officer, or otherwise can lawfully act on your behalf without delegation of authority in writing, retainer, power of attorney, statutory appointment. If they file or appear in your name without permission, they're committing identity theft. Or I would say if they file and appear in another party's name, you can't necessarily file identity theft for the other party, but you would be able to file that they don't have a delegation of authority under the state law. You would have to find the state law for your state, like New York, is similar to like the People versus Van Sickle, that the attorney in the matter is merely a lay witness attempting to prosecute. And by the ancient writ, right? By the ancient writ and right of the man or woman in proprio persona in writing, right? You can always challenge whether civil or criminal. And they say this is mandatory in civil and it's used in criminal. You got to know how to invoke it. But again, all this would be a deprivation of rights. And the core aspect is tonight, we found an attorney using a woman's information on Service Members Civil Relief Act website. And the key thing was, did that attorney even have a right to use her name, image, likeness, social security number, or otherwise? So even if they ask you for the last 4 digits of your social, I wouldn't give it to them. If they ain't got it already, give me a delegation of authority where you can obtain this. But I appreciate you guys greatly. I'll see everybody this Saturday on the Saturday evening live master self course. We're doing 20 weeks all the way to the end of January. We're in week 4 this week. It's a one-time donation. And when you donate one time, you get access to every file I've been doing since I went solo. There's 8 sessions we're in. We're in session 8 right now. Each one of these are absolutely amazing. I show you everything out there, not legal advice or tax advice, but I show you the best information on the planet. So you can be well equipped to go out there and not be a sovereign citizen, not be an enemy of the state, not be trading with the enemy, but get your life together. And really, there's really, at this point right now, like I said, I'm on top of a wave right now. Not necessarily a wave in the ocean. I'm a wave in the sky. Gemini, right? That's the sign. That's the ether I'm on. I'm up in the clouds. And right now, I'm with you in the ether. If you're listening to me or you're visualizing all this right now, it's not about me. It's about you. If you made it to this channel, to this horizon, to this platform, it's about you finding out. There is no such thing as pure equity, pure common law, or anything. There is no such thing as surety, binding, and equity. It doesn't even exist. Surety is not part of God's law. Go read the Bible or the Quran. You're never supposed to take up surety. Surety is these public officials. Surety is these corporate officers. You don't put your feet in another man or woman's shoes. Subrogation is part of equity. Equity is part of the fusion of law right now. They've fused law since 1938 and even prior to that. So they know you're batshit delusional coming there talking about chancery and pure equity. And you're messing with people that probably have never had $250,000, $500,000, or $1 million in their fucking life in reality. So most of these people are capping. Most people never had a real custodial or discretionary trust account with the bank in the back. I've been doing this since 2015 in the background, the real truth. And I show it to the people week in, week out. Now it's so beyond imagination. My son and daughter do it. So I'm kicked back, man. I appreciate each one of you guys. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll see you live on Saturday night. Peace. Forgive any words that I use in any discretion. Viewer discretion advised. I'm out like clout in a bad drought.